What's up everyone, this is Clips from Ranked Gaming coming to you with our first official review of Fallout 4. So my first impressions for Fallout 4. I've never been a huge fan of the series, but this one just blew my mind. I'm a huge sucker for sandbox games, and this one is the epitome of a sandbox. I've been hooked to this game for hours and hours, and I still have so much to explore. But let's get down to the details. The story. The story of Fallout 4 follows pretty much the same guidelines as the previous games. Life is pretty great, here comes a nuclear war, boom boom, everything's dead. You're then left in a post-apocalyptic world, but this time around you have sort of a more personal quest rather than just trying to survive. It's way better than I expected, to be honest, but when you compare it to other games that have been out like The Witcher 3, which is the latest game I've played, it falls kinda short. The great thing about it is that it's a completely non-linear story. From the moment you step out of the vault, you get to do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. Not in that sense, but you get what I mean. The characters are pretty cool and diverse, and you get a chance of meeting your couple of weirdos. The main story itself has some nice, emotional, personal moments, if you're that kind of guy. But most of them are supposed to hit you right in the chest, and sometimes they just kind of go by. Now the main beauty about the story though is the side quests. They add to your own personal development, they add to your own experience of the story itself, and the fact that you have a bunch of different factions with different motives really adds a lot of options to the game, and to a certain point some replayability. Oftentimes you find yourself wondering if that was the right option, if you killed the right guy, if you made the right move.
Just kill this thing and be done with it.
What?
Graphics. What everyone cares about nowadays. There's some nice changes in this installment of the Fallout series. It's a lot more bright and has a lot more colors, which kind of contrasts with the whole post-apocalyptic setting. The world kind of feels a bit more living and realistic, while at the same time you have that desolated look. The game also has a kind of cartoonish feel to it, which kind of makes it unique, except everyone uses that kind of look nowadays. That or pixelated. Now it does feel a bit outdated compared to some other games. In Fallout, while it does look great, some things should be a bit more tweaked in my opinion. Some facial expressions are off, and some of the details aren't really details, they're just tails. Overall though, I think it's easy to overlook these flaws just because the game looks amazing and it still feels totally immersive. The presentation of the game is pretty awesome. It's an immersive world, the 50s look is great, and with so many things to do in such an amazing setting, it's easy for you to get lost in this game and spend hours and hours throwing your life away. Now as far as the interface, it feels kind of disorganized at sometimes, especially the inventory. You'll often find yourself looking through all the stuff you've picked up and trying to throw most of it away without really not knowing what each thing does, or being kind of confused of what weapon to keep. Also the crafting interfaces, especially for buildings, just feels like a bit too much at sometimes. I feel like they should be a bit more simplified or maybe explained a little bit better. The gameplay. Fallout 4 has a really nice FPS feel to it. You can play it in first person or third person. For me, most of the time I spent it in first person just because it plays out like a regular FPS. Now sometimes if you want to enjoy the setting or the view, you might want to put that third person option. As always, you've got your trusty Pip-boy, which pretty much does anything. You can check quests, data on it, play some holotapes, check out for miscellaneous stuff, organize or at least try to organize your inventory. Now the crafting system really caught my eye in this game. It's huge, it's diverse, it's complex, it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. It's kind of like my personality. You can craft anything from armors to weapons to buildings. Now it might be easy for most people to ignore this kind of feature, but for me, that's what really adds to an RPG, just because it's supposed to be about your own personal experience with the game, with the character, with the world. Nerd! The VAT system is still in the game, it's a bit tweaked though this time. For those of you who don't know it, VAT is now a slow motion option that makes you pinpoint certain parts of an enemy's body, so you might want to cripple it or just straight up shoot it in the head. Like I said though, this time around, it doesn't completely stop time, it just slows it down, so you still gotta think on your feet and be quick about it. The leveling and building options for your character are also amazing. The perk system is just perfect for me. You have a lot of diversity in the way you want to build them. You get to be a stealthy ninja to a machine gun wielding motherfucker, or you can try to talk your way out of pretty much anything.
100 gas.
Come on. Do I look like I can afford that?
Now the chat options, the way you lead conversations with characters, can be kind of off-putting. You get 4 options, and most of them are kind of misleading to be honest, besides the obvious yes or no.
Yes.
Now, one thing I really gotta talk about is the companion system. While it might be great for you to walk around with another person or your dog, companions suck. I mean, they really fucking suck. They're useless. They just walk around. They have no way of being controlled. Most of the time, they'll just be blocking you away from trying to get to something. They're 100% useless.
Real sweet of you.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's get down to the verdict. Besides a couple of minor flaws, Fallout 4 oozes with awesomeness. Fallout 4 gets a general ranking 100% for sure. One of the best games I've played, especially this year. It's a true candidate for Game of the Year. A true sandbox experience, man. It's just amazing. I recommend it to everyone. That's it for our first official review. Don't forget to check out our Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more content coming to you real soon.